What if I told you that a hidden strategy, crafted in the depths of power, could unlock America's next wave of millionaires? Donald Trump, a name that sparks controversy, admiration, and debate, has always played by a different set of rules. But what if those rules weren't just for politics, but for wealth creation? From real estate mogul to the Oval Office, Trump's moves have shaped economies, shifted markets, and rewritten the playbook for financial success. Now, whispers of a master plan suggest that another economic storm is brewing, one that could make or break America's future millionaires. Is this just another bold claim, or is there a strategy behind the headlines? And more importantly, will you be ready when the tide turns? This is the story behind the strategy. This is Trump's master plan. Donald Trump has always understood one thing better than most. Influence is the most valuable currency in the world. Long before he stepped into the political arena, he was already shaping perceptions, crafting narratives, and using his brand as a tool, not just for power, but for profit. But how did a real estate mogul turn his name into a financial empire that stretched far beyond buildings and boardrooms? It all started in the 1980s. The name Trump became synonymous with wealth, luxury, and high-stakes deals. Whether it was through his towering skyscrapers, his casinos, or even his best-selling book, The Art of the Deal, it wasn't just selling real estate, he was selling a lifestyle, an image, a dream. People didn't just want to buy property, they wanted to buy into the Trump brand. And then came television. The Apprentice wasn't just a reality show, it was a global masterclass in branding. Millions watched each week as Trump played the role of the ultimate businessman, turning his catchphrase, "You're fired," into a cultural phenomenon.
You're fired, get out of here!
But behind the scenes, something even bigger was happening. Trump wasn't just entertaining the masses, he was building an army of believers, entrepreneurs, investors, and everyday Americans saw him as the embodiment of success. The show wasn't just about contestants, it was about Trump, his power, his decision-making, his ability to create and destroy financial futures with a single word. So when he announced his presidential run in 2015, it wasn't just politics, it was marketing genius. The media couldn't look away. Every headline, every controversy, every speech, it all played into the same strategy: control the narrative, dominate the conversation, and keep the spotlight fixed on one name: Trump. And it worked. His presidency became an extension of his business philosophy, leveraging power, making deals, and creating opportunities for those who understood the game. Tax cuts, deregulation, business incentives, policies that, while debated endlessly, had one undeniable result: they changed the financial landscape, creating new winners and losers in the economy. But who really benefited? And more importantly, how? Because while Trump was shaping policy from the White House, another game was unfolding, one that involved real estate, tax loopholes, and a billionaire's blueprint for wealth creation. And that's where the real story begins. Trump didn't just play the real estate game, he rewrote the rules. From the moment he stepped into the industry, he understood something that many investors fail to grasp. Real wealth isn't made by buying and selling property. It's made by controlling the system that governs it. But let's rewind for a moment. The 1970s, New York City was crumbling. Crime was soaring, businesses were fleeing, and real estate was bleeding value. While others saw disaster, Trump saw opportunity. He didn't just invest, he negotiated massive tax breaks, subsidies, and incentives from the government. He wasn't spending his own money, he was using the system to fund his rise. The Grand Hyatt deal, for example, one of his first major successes, wasn't just a property flip. It was a lesson in leverage. Trump secured a 40-year tax break worth hundreds of millions, and this was just the beginning. Fast forward to his presidency. When Trump took office, he had the ultimate power to shape policies that could benefit those who understood the real estate game, people like himself. The 2017 Tax Cuts and Jobs Act was a turning point. While it was sold as a tax break for the middle class, hidden inside were key advantages for real estate investors. Pass-through deductions, a loophole that allowed real estate moguls to cut their tax bills dramatically, depreciation write-offs, a way to make properties look like they were losing value on paper while they were actually making millions. Opportunity zones, a program that promised to revitalize struggling neighborhoods but ended up becoming a gold mine for wealthy developers. Those who understood the game made millions, if not billions. But there is the real question. Was this just smart business, or was it something more? A carefully designed blueprint that would allow the rich to get richer while the average American got left behind. And if the tax system was rigged in favor of those who know how to exploit it, what other financial systems were designed to do the same? Because while Trump was building an empire through real estate and tax loopholes, another game was unfolding, one that controlled debt, credit, and the financial lives of millions of Americans. And that's where the real power lies. When Donald Trump stepped into the Oval Office, one thing became immediately clear. He was not interested by playing by the old rules. While his predecessors had operated within a framework of regulations that governed the industries from banking to energy, Trump's vision was different. He didn't just want to change the economy, he wanted to reshape it. And the way to do that was simple. Cut the red tape. In his first year as president, Trump made good on his promise to deregulate. By scaling back government intervention, he shifted the power from the bureaucratic systems to the hands of business owners, investors, and entrepreneurs. And for those who understood the power of deregulation, it was an opportunity to make fortunes. Trump's approach was radical. Financial deregulation, the Dodd-Frank Act, passed after the 2008 financial crisis, was designed to prevent another collapse. Trump's administration, however, undid key provisions, particularly around smaller banks. The result? A new wave of blend-in from smaller financial institutions, which opened the door for more investment, expansion, and risk-taking. Energy industry. The energy sector, once tightly controlled by environmental regulations, saw major shifts. Trump's decision to roll back restrictions on drilling, mining, and energy production wasn't just about energy, it was about empowering the corporations that were poised to profit from these new freedoms. Environmental policies. Trump's decision to exit the Paris Climate Agreement was controversial, but the effect it had on businesses was undeniable. With a promise of fewer environmental restrictions, industries like coal, gas, and manufacturing were free to operate with fewer limitations. But here is the twist. It wasn't just big corporations that were winning in this deregulated world. Entrepreneurs, investors, and small businesses were also able to flourish. The shift in tax policies and the deregulation of financial institutions opened doors to credit, loans, and opportunities that had once been restricted. Entrepreneurs could now take risks without the heavy burden of overbearing government control. Startups and small businesses could expand faster, enter new markets, and scale at lightning speed. And let's not forget the stock market boom. Under Trump, the stock market saw an unprecedented rise, pushing the wealthiest Americans to even greater heights. Investors who had a finger on the pulse of this new deregulated economy saw returns that were nothing short of astonishing. But was it really as it seemed? Deregulation isn't just about unleashing the power of the free market, it is also about creating winners and losers. While many thrived in this new landscape, there were others who were left behind, as the deregulated system heavily favored those with the resources to take advantage of it. And as the dust settled, it became clear that the real impact of Trump's deregulation wasn't just in the stock market or the corporate world. It was in the very fabric of the American economy, redefining the way business and wealth are created in this new era. But if deregulation was the foundation for this new era of wealth creation, there was another key piece of the puzzle, the unseen forces that continue to fuel this financial revolution. And that story is just about to unfold. It's no secret that Donald Trump has always been a master of branding, but in his post-presidential years, he took it at an entirely new level. His name wasn't just associated with politics, it became a commodity, a symbol, and a cash machine. The world watched as Trump's influence continued to grow. But what was truly remarkable was how his supporters and Trump himself found ways to profit from that influence. It wasn't just about politics, it was about monetizing a movement. One of the most notable ventures in this new era was the launch of Truth Social. Trump's social media platform created a direct response to being banned from Twitter and other platforms. But Truth Social wasn't just about giving Trump a voice, it was about building a new ecosystem that catered to his base, while also creating new avenues for financial growth. While the platform has mixed reviews, one thing was undeniable. It capitalized on a loyal following who were willing to invest, engage, and support the Trump brand. But Truth Social wasn't just a platform for political discourse. It became a vehicle for profit. As the platform gained users, it attracted advertisers, investors, and a thriving digital economy that benefited from the surge in interest. And then there were the NFTs. In 2022, Trump launched his own line of digital collectibles, Trump Digital Trading Cards. To many, it seemed like a strange move, but for Trump, it was a brilliant play in the emerging market of NFTs, non-fungible tokens, an industry that was exploding in value. These NFTs were marketed as exclusive, one-of-a-kind digital art piece that celebrated Trump's career and persona, and though they were ridiculed by some, the financial success was undeniable. The sales figures were staggering. Millions of dollars poured into the collection, with Trump's loyal base snatching up the tokens as investments, memorabilia, and symbols of their political allegiance. These weren't just digital images. They were tokens of identity tied directly to the Trump brand. But the real question is, how did this happen? How did a man whose political career was often marred by controversy turn his very name into a profitable asset that extended far beyond the White House? How did he take the loyalty of millions of Americans and translate it into financial success? The answer lies in the art of personal branding. Trump had spent decades cultivating a cult of personality, a carefully crafted image of wealth, power, and unfiltered rhetoric. This image was larger than life, and it didn't just resonate with the political base. It attracted an audience of investors, entrepreneurs, and fans eager to buy into the Trump brand, no matter the cost. But there was more at play. It wasn't just the products themselves that were profitable. It was the marketing machine that powered them. Every new venture, whether it was Truth Social, the NFT collection, or even his rallies, was designed to generate buzz, spark controversy, and drive demand. The MAGA movement had become more than a political slogan. It was a business strategy, a financial juggernaut that blurred the lines between politics, marketing, and investment. Yet, while Trump's financial gains were undeniable, there were also darker undercurrents in this new world of MAGA money. The question remained, was it sustainable? Was this wave of profit a true reflection of political influence or just a bubble waiting to burst? And as the money flowed in from these new ventures, there was still one last piece of the puzzle, the next phase in the Trump brand's financial evolution, one that was set to create even more massive shifts. And that is where things are about to get even more unpredictable. Donald Trump's financial journey has never been a smooth ride. For every billion-dollar deal and massive success, there's been a controversy, setback, or lawsuit waiting around the corner. It is as if Trump's financial empire wasn't just built on wealth. It was built on the art of surviving the storm. Despite his public persona as a fearless mogul, the reality of Trump's business dealing is far more complex. He faced more than just his fair share of financial struggles. And yet, time and time again, he's managed to bounce back stronger than before. One of the earliest signs that Trump's empire wasn't as invincible as it seemed came during the late 1980s and early 1990s. After the collapse of the real estate market, Trump found himself swimming in massive debt. But here is where Trump's genius comes into play. He knew how to survive and even thrive when everything seemed to be falling apart. Rather than backing down, he reshaped his financial strategy. He renegotiated his debts, traded assets, and turned what many saw as failure into a new opportunity. He emerged from the 1990s crisis still standing tall, ready to rebuild his empire. But the controversies didn't stop there. As Trump's fame grew, so did the numbers of lawsuits filed against him, some over his business practices, others related to his personal life. From the infamous Trump University lawsuit to the allegations surrounding his real estate deals, Trump's wealth has been entangled with a long list of legal battles. Yet, no matter the setback, Trump didn't allow these lawsuits to derail him. Whether in the courts or the media, he fought back hard, using his trademark resilience to maintain his reputation and, more importantly, his wealth. In many ways, Trump's legal troubles became a part of his brand, feeding into his persona as a fighter who could take on anything and win. One of the most infamous episodes in Trump's financial history came when he faced bankruptcy proceedings for several of his casinos and real estate ventures. The media painted a picture of a mogul on the brink of collapse, but behind the scenes, Trump was employing a strategy few saw coming: the art of strategic bankruptcy. By leveraging bankruptcy laws, Trump could offload debt and emerge with his assets intact. While critics saw this as a failure, Trump saw it as smart business. It wasn't about failure. It was about keeping control and restructuring his empire without losing his core assets. Over time, he turned his most controversial bankruptcies into comeback stories, showing that the road to financial survival wasn't just about avoiding setbacks. It was about knowing how to manage them. But his legal and financial troubles didn't stop with business setbacks. Trump's presidency brought a new wave of challenges: the constant media scrutiny, investigations into his financial dealings, and the threat of impeachment. Even as his political influence soared, his financial empire was under attack from multiple angles. Yet, Trump continued to use the same tactics: resilience, negotiation, and a willingness to pivot when the situation demanded it. So how did Trump do it? How did he remain one of the wealthiest men in the world, despite facing lawsuits, bankruptcies, and unprecedented political and legal challenges? The answer lies in his resilience, his unshakable confidence, and his ability to adapt to changing circumstances. Trump did not just weather the storms, he used them to build his empire and redefine what it meant to survive financially. But while Trump's financial survival tactics have kept him afloat, there's still a deeper question to ask. Can this empire last in the long run? As Trump moves forward, the balance between public scrutiny, legal challenges, and the future of his wealth is more uncertain than ever. But one thing is clear: Trump will never stop fighting to maintain his financial dominance. The story of Donald Trump's wealth isn't just about the deals, the brands, or the controversies. It is about legacy. From the boardrooms of New York to the corridors of power in Washington, Trump has always known how to use his influence to create financial opportunities, not just for himself, but for an entire movement. But as we look to the future, the big question remains: will Trump's financial strategies continue shaping America's next millionaire wave? As his influence stretches into new industries and new territories, one thing is certain: Trump has changed the game. Whether it is his mastery of branding, his ability to navigate financial turbulence, or his relentless pursuit of wealth, Trump has shown that the road to fortune isn't just about the rules, it is about breaking them. But what is next for Trump's empire as new challenges emerge and his influence continues to evolve? The question isn't just whether his wealth will grow, it's whether his strategies will be enough to shape the next generation of wealth creators. Is the Trump brand poised to redefine the future of business? Or is the market shifting beneath his feet? Will his political influence continue to fuel his financial empire? Or will the world of business leave him behind? I'll leave that for you to be the judge.